are starting to align, at least for the GOP and the potential candidate for president, Mitt Romney. You're going to shrug? Are you going to give me a shrug there at the top? Well, yes, yeah, all right. Hey, everybody, we're glad you're with us today. I'm Jenna Lee.
And I'm Greg Jarrett, filling in for John Scott. Mitt Romney still has to get enough of the delegates to win his party's nomination for president, but a lot of folks seem to think, hey, he's got it all sewn up. Well, take a look at this. There's a new poll from the Pew Research Center finding a vast majority of Republicans, 74%, do believe that Romney will be the nominee, but 21% still think there's a chance for somebody else. Joining us now from CQ Weekly magazine, where this week's cover story looks at Republican support for Romney, is the CQ Weekly managing editor, Fred Barbash. Fred, thanks very much for being with us. You know, in terms of endorsements in the last 10 days or so, it's been a great week for Mitt Romney. Let's put it up. These are all the big-name endorsements on Capitol Hill. You got Paul Ryan, Eric Canto, Marco Rubio, Tom Coburn, Ron Johnson, and then you've got Tea Party favorite Jim DeMint saying, quote, "I don't question his conservative credentials," meaning Romney.
Right.
But you write that there's a lack of enthusiasm and excitement. Why?
Well, he doesn't connect with them any more than he connects with the American people. But more significantly in his case, if you look at what the Republican leadership and the rank and file in that party on the Hill stand for, he's kind of been the opposite. You know, with the Romney care in particular, they're looking for somebody who embodies the principles that they stand for to make a run against somebody they consider a deeply vulnerable president. And I think that Romney never fit that bill for them. You remember they went through these stages of sort of anybody but Romney, get me a non-Romney, get me Chris Christie, get me Jeb Bush, get me anybody but Romney, and it didn't work, and they met rejection all the way. So what you got as a result, I think, in these endorsements is an attempt really to get Santorum and Gingrich out of the race, because they know it's over now, and they don't, a lot of damage has been done, and they don't want to prolong. This is going to hurt them as much as it's going to hurt Romney. But there's no great enthusiasm for Romney on the Hill.
Well, isn't it odd, because RNC members changed the rules to backload it with more proportional on the front end and so forth, because they wanted to prolong the primary season. And now all of a sudden they want to end it. A lot of them do, because they want to avoid a nasty floor fight, huh?
I don't think anyone anticipated this kind of primary. Not only the nastiness and you know, somebody up there, one of them told me that the best thing that happened to Romney was Newt Gingrich. When Newt Gingrich won the one primary he won in South Carolina, that really scared them. The potential for Gingrich or even a Santorum at the top of a ticket made them feel fear for their own jobs. So that's really, I think, here you're dealing with the sort of fear factor to some extent, and then I don't think they fully appreciated the damage that would be done by issues like contraception, Rick Santorum talking about Satan, that kind of thing. That's exactly what they don't need, Greg.
How important is it to have a successful top of the ticket if Republicans want to win the U.S. Senate?
It's pretty important to have a successful top of the ticket, particularly for the Senate races. There's a lot of evidence that if you've got the potential, as they do now, to take the Senate, then the top of the ticket could make a difference, particularly if the top of the ticket is really flat. You know, I think if it's a pretty even race, it might not have that big impact. You wouldn't necessarily expect a lift from the top of the ticket. But if the top of the ticket is a disaster, then they could lose seats in the Senate. They could lose the House, theoretically, for that. I mean, that's going to have a big effect in a presidential race.
Well, it's a terrific piece entitled "The Signal from the Hill." Managing editor of CQ Weekly. It's the cover story this week. Fred Barbash. Fred, thanks very much.
Nice to see you, Greg.